on YouTube, live on Rumble. Take it away.
Well, welcome to I'm Okay, You're Okay. It's the premiere, first time on the air, and good luck to us. Anyways, what the show is about, it's about discussion, debate, differences of opinion, whatever it is. It doesn't matter because we respect and appreciate everybody's opinion, so it's okay. So what we're going to talk about today, I think, is a little NBA basketball, where it's at, what's happened to the viewer's eyes, and why. And if we have some time, maybe not, we'll talk about the WNBA and what's going on there, and a couple of the opinions they have. Anyways, let's get on with the show. We're going to talk about the NBA.
Well, you got to introduce us first.
Oh, okay.
Like, who are we?
I am the Golden Loon. You are...
I'm A.O. Xander.
A.O. Xander. And by the way, A.O. Xander's coined this I-O-Y-O.
Yeah. Well, I love abbreviating in a show,
That's
so, yeah.
You did well.
Yeah.
I-O-Y-O.
Yeah, it sounds like a drug, though.
Yeah, I know.
Ayahuasca or something.
An Indian chant, perhaps. Yeah. Anyways, so we're going to touch a little bit on, like I said, the NBA, why they've lost eyes over the years, or this year, I should say, and where we think it's going to go.
Now, initially, you wanted to talk about, because what got me really interested in this to begin with was you were talking about the three-point line and all that stuff.
Well, so much basketball, to give you a little bit of history of myself, I go way back. I'm an old-timer.
To the Mesozoic era.
I was here pre-Lakers. I remember when they came to town. So I've seen a lot of history with the Lakers. Loved it. Saw a lot of superstars: Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Wilt Chamberlain when he came to the Lakers.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh yeah, all of them.
He was an airplane.
But I go back even on TV, way back when on Sundays you got an NBA game, and I watched Cousy, Bob Cousy, of the Boston Celtics, and how he changed the game in my eyes. He sped it up. He was the first guy I ever saw pushing the ball down the court and changed the speed of the game completely. So he was instrumental. I don't think he's ever got the credit because you got to be old like me to really see that and appreciate it. Anyways, so we've come to the point where I'm kind of bored with it. They've lost me as a fan somewhat. I don't follow it like I used to nearly, but it's just become repetitive and not interesting to me. And
as far as the three-point line is concerned, because you
have
other
the play of the game, and I'm trying to say why.
Yeah.
Why has it become repetitive and just boring to me?
Yeah.
And part of that to me is the NBA, the NBA three-point line.
Yeah. Now, when the three-point line was first introduced, because you were around when that was first introduced, right?
Oh, yeah, way before it, yeah.
Yeah. So when it was first introduced, like, what was the whole concept? What was the reason?
Well, the reason was before it became part of the NBA, there was a competitive league that started up called the ABA.
The American Basketball Association.
Yes, and it was not in with the NBA. They were hitting heads and trying to survive and become...
Kind of like the NFL and AFL.
Yes, before they did
merged, yeah.
Anyways, the ABA did have a three-point line. That's one of their big things that they introduced into basketball, was the three-point line. And people loved it, thought it was exciting, and so forth. And then when they merged, actually, the ABA was pretty well dying, and they took a couple of the teams that were still surviving, and the rest of them just lost their franchises. And then eventually, and I can't remember exactly how soon after, but the NBA also adapted the three-point line. Mm-hmm. And at first it was exciting and different, but there weren't 30 shots fired up a game, you know. It didn't become the focal point.
Yeah, now it's become, okay, they've perfected it, they've algorithmed it to hell and gone. It's no longer even an air of mystery. It's not exciting anymore. It's just standard and expected. Yeah. You know?
Well, they did figure out in an algorithm, like you say, so many NBA shots from the three-point line, and you're going to make a certain percentage lower than the two, but you would still come out a winner.
And at a certain position, you said like something on the left side versus the right, you have a better chance, like a certain position at the three-point line, and you're almost guaranteed?
No, you're not almost guaranteed, but yeah, the closest point is in the corner. That's the closest point to the basket, but you also don't have a backboard for dimension. But the point is, they've become so efficient at the 3-point line.
It no longer has the air of mystery. Are they
Years
going to
and
make
years
it? Or are
and
they
years
not?
of shooting up hundreds of, if not thousands and thousands of 3-point practice shots, they've become super efficient. So now what I'm seeing in the game is not the intricate, like here we fortunately had the triangle offense. It was a lot of incher movements and everything. But to me, you've lost all that inner works inside, and it's just become a drive, kick it back out to the open guy for the 3.
There's no excitement anymore. Like,
And to me, it's just become boring.
like it's
boring.
basically like in game and video games and everything. Like when you're farming a boss so many times, you know the mechanics, you know where to stand, you know what to do, you know when to heal, you know when to block,
Yeah.
and it's no longer exciting. It's just routine.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's like having a job but not really working. You're watching. It's boring.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
And back in the day, it was illegal in the NBA to have a zone defense. I don't know if you know what that is. You guard an area, not a person. It was mandatory that you played man-to-man. In fact, they had technical fouls.
try to look into the camera when talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would have a technical foul if you went into a zone.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the weak part of a zone, 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
That's the weak side of it. So that even enhanced more 3-point shooting because they could fall back and load up the paint. Anyways, to me, it's become just repetitive and boring.
So the question is, should they completely take it out, or should they change it? Should they move the line back or something? Should they have the line only be like in the center and no more corner, or like?
Well, that is the $1,000,000 question. What will make it better? But,
Because like the whole reason about watching sports, is the year of mystery. Are they going to make the home run? Are they going to do the slam dunk? Are they going to hit the 3-pointer? But when it's gotten to such a perfection, when somebody's moving there's a high chance they're going to hit it, and it's not as exciting.
Well, that's the point. Now, one aspect, you moving it back, that's very difficult. What do you, at half court do you put it? I don't know.
Well, I've seen
then
people.
You're basically eliminating.
I've seen people like chuck a ball from the entire court and make it.
Of course, that's
that
a
should be a
rarity.
4-point.
But here's another concept that would be kind of weird, but maybe an answer. Limit how many 3-pointers you're allowed in the game or in a quarter. In other words, if you can shoot 2 or 3 3-pointers per quarter,
Well,
or 5 or 8 per game, and then if you shoot more than that, whether you make it or not, whatever you shoot after that is only going to be a 2. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
yeah, but at the same time, with that, you're kind of like, like they're not guaranteed to sink the 3-pointer, but you're kind of giving them like pre-points.
Pre-points.
Like if I don't know how to explain this really. Like if they can sink a 3-pointer
Yeah.
and consecutively,
Yeah.
without faults,
And okay.
then you know that they're going to make that much points with a 3-pointer, even if there's a limit. So might as well just start the game with both sides at 50 and take 3-pointers completely out.
What do you mean? Start the game at 50
At
points?
50 points, yeah,
Well,
or whatever.
Whether you start at 0 or 50, that's irrelevant.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're
my
going to
point
limit.
being, if you limit it, and this is just a thought, it's kind of crazy, but if you limit the 3-pointers, say you have 2 a quarter.
Okay.
Okay, so you miss one. Okay,
Yeah.
you still you only have one left. Now you make the next one, fine, you get your 3-pointers.
But
But
see-
anything you shoot after that will count,
But-
it'll only count as 2.
Okay. So if you're only allowed. So if you miss the first one,
Make it a first, doesn't matter.
Well, no. If you miss the first one and make the second one, then you've already blown your shot. You can't get another 3-pointer, right?
that'll count as 3. You can take all the
Okay.
3-pointers you want, but they're
So-
only going to count as 2.
So that's just setting up a situation where the rest of the team will hate on you for not making the successful 3-pointer if you miss.
Say that again now?
So like, okay, so if you're limited to 2 3-point attempts
Yeah.
and you miss one, then the rest of the team will get mad at you for missing it because that you blew your
Well,
shot.
You're gonna save it till you need it, maybe the end of the quarter, something like that. I'm just trying to get the game back inside. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying even this is a good idea. I don't know. I'm throwing it out there for whatever it's worth. Right now, it's boring.
Yeah.
Look at me. I don't like it. I don't watch it. Maybe the playoffs will come. I'll start watching.
You don't have to look so angry.
Selected. I don't like it. Anyway, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's not the 3-pointer at all.
Well, there's other issues that we are going to talk
But
about.
it maybe is load management. You take your stars out. There's the old story. A guy spends $500 to take his kids there. The stars don't come out from the Lakers when they're playing Minnesota. You spend all that money, you don't get to see LeBron. Come on.
Or Shaq or Kobe,
Or
or
whoever it
whatever.
would have been. So I mean,
Yeah.
then there's the other point. The money these guys are making is phenomenal. I've always believed make as much as you can, whatever you can, whatever you're doing. I never begrudge somebody making a lot of money. I never look in their pocket.
But when the
don't
tickets
care.
are so expensive.
But between load management now and the amount of money they're making, are they playing soft?
Yeah.
Money is now more important than the loyalty to the game. Is that a fact? I don't know.
That is an idea. That is a
I
ponder
remember back
right
in the day, and I'm not going to say which player it was, but he was offered $2.5 million or something, which is nothing compared to today, but it
Yeah.
was a huge amount of money then. What'd the guy say? I'm insulted. Are you kidding me? You were insulted at $1 million contract? Come on. But if that attitude now, when you're making $50 million, if that attitude's really creeped in, where's the mental capacity? Because it's infinitesimal between a superstar, a player, and
A bench
a
warmer.
non-professional.
Yeah.
Just infinitesimal. And if you get it into your head, and they all do, changes the game.
Yeah, and then it goes beyond that. They start talking about their politics and their beliefs, and
Well, that's another story. I just
or like to kind of take a little bit of an example that you said earlier about the Stars not showing up. Well, what if they decide not to play in protest? Now you're screwing over the fans because of your beliefs, and now you're bringing that onto the court, and you're just ruining it for everybody, especially for the average Joe like us, who we can't afford $500 for a ticket. But if we scrounge and then we buy that
save
ticket,
to go that one time a year because
and then they decide not to show up because
management.
because they want to take a knee during the pledge or whatever.
well, that's something else. That'd shut a game down.
Yeah. But it's just just knock it off. I mean, professional sports are nothing more than modern day gladiatorial combat. It's just a distraction. That's all it is from things that actually matter. But stay in your lane.
Yeah.
I
want to enjoy myself watching it and forget about the bad day I've had or whatever this case may be. I don't want to think of politics, anything. I want to enjoy a game. Right now I'm having a hard time enjoying it, as you can tell.
And another thing that that you experienced a while ago, you used to be a Lakers fan.
Oh, huge.
And then you became a Clippers fan unintentionally. Yeah. Why?
Well, that's a story in itself. Probably my cheapness.
Well, it's not your cheapness. Money is a thing.
Here's the point. Here's the point. I went from having Laker games on TV, local on-air TV.
And we were on Dish, Dish Network.
But I mean, just you could have an antenna, you can get the Laker games. Okay. And then they went to pay-per-view for all the home games. Okay, I get that. It's home. Go get a ticket. Go see the game if you want. If not, you get cable, but I'm not going to give it to you for free. Then they took all the games away, all the road games. I had no more Laker games whatsoever unless I subscribed and paid for them. And I said, well, screw you. I'm done. And I said, I'm I know. I'm going to watch the Clippers. They still have free away games
Yeah.
and all that. So I became a Clippers fan.
And see,
What a surprise.
I understand money makes the world go around.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, I understand money makes the world go round, and at the end of the day, everybody needs to put bread on the table. But if you lock 100% of all your stuff behind a paywall, how the hell do you expect to grow a fan base if you expect them to pay just to look and see if they like it? You got to have examples,
This goes back. My Clipper thing goes back many years. I mean, this didn't happen yesterday. This was a number of years ago. But I think that's part of it too.
Yeah.
Now it's coming home to roost.
Yeah.
You don't have anything out there in people's face.
You're bringing in outside of court beliefs onto it. You're making things prohibitively expensive, locking things behind paywalls, and on the court itself, the 3-point line, taking the excitement and the mystery out of the game. Everything that can go the wrong way is,
Yeah. Anyways,
and
that's my take on it.
And speaking of going the wrong way and all that stuff, do you want to talk about that other section of the NBA? The
What
W one?
Oh, the WNBA?
How they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot and all that
I've
stuff.
never watched the WNBA in my life. Just, I've watched 30 seconds of it in the years past, and I go, whoa, I could play with them. I don't need to be watching them if I can play with them. Anyway, so I wasn't really impressed with the quality of the game.
Yeah.
And then last year in the women's finals, I heard all this hum and bum about this woman, Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
I go, who's she? All these fans are going. So I saw the finals and I go, wow, she is really something.
Yeah.
So she went into the WNBA a few months later.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I got to see what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And I started getting my eyes. I started watching her from time to time. Not all the time, but time to time.
But,
they
she has
now
become a
have-
household name.
Oh,
You
it's
know?
unbelievable. She is, I got to say, all
She's
the men,
carrying-
the women, she's far more popular, I think, than any other individual in basketball right now.
Because she's skilled and she actually does work. You know?
I don't know what it is. It's a phenom. It's hard to explain why. I mean, she's a phenom for the WNBA. I don't know if she could compete in the NBA, to tell you the truth. I really don't know.
But I mean, to put it into example, I don't give a crap about celebrities. I don't care about, professional athletes. I don't care about all these big names. I know something, especially as a historian. I know about like Kobe and Shaq and
All the
Kareem
big ones.
Abdul-Jabbar, Jerry West. I know all these names. But Caitlin Clark, she's made such an impact that her name is in my head. Of all people.
Can you name another woman player?
Of any sport?
No, a woman player in the WNBA.
No, that's what I'm saying.
course
WNBA itself or any other women's professional, I don't know anybody of any names. She's the only female athlete on any spectrum that I know the name, and that's because she's that good. She's,
Well, I'll say one sport that, and we're getting a little off topic, but one sport that has really come into its own as far as the women and men being recognized, and that's tennis.
Oh yeah,
The women are every bit as recognized as the men.
I forgot about tennis.
Now, why
Sisters,
is
the
that?
Williams sisters.
Yeah,
so
there you
I do
go.
have other
Okay.
memories.
So they have.
And Janovic Jokovic or whatever her name was, or something. You know what I'm talking about, right? Another tennis
Well, there's
player.
a lot of tennis players
Weird name.
in history that I've watched over the years, and they've been really entertaining.
Yeah.
But that's the one sport that I can say that is every bit, and has been for a number of years, as popular as the men's. Women and men's is equally popular, I'm going to say.
Yeah, Wimbledon, yeah, you're right. They do have a level playing field as far as popularity.
I think so. I mean, I don't know the numbers to back it up, but that's my perception.
There was a
of it.
little bit of that with Danica Patrick in NASCAR.
Yeah, that's true too.
So-
But she was an odd. I don't know
Yeah.
if they've even had another driver.
I don't
competing
care.
on that level. I don't know.
I don't care about
Good
NASCAR.
for 'em.
you know.
I want women to succeed in everything.
I
I'm
want
all
everybody
for it.
to succeed,
Yeah,
succeed
absolutely.
in things,
Absolutely. But the WNBA, just saw they made a big deal, and I don't know why, because I don't care talking politics and sports, but they made a huge deal for transgenders.
Transgender? Yeah.
And I'm all for it. I'm all for everybody doing their thing. That's why I'm a huge libertarian when it comes to this. Be happy, do whatever you want to do, as long as you don't
Hurt.
infringe on somebody else.
Yeah.
If you don't infringe on anybody, whatever it is, go do it, have fun.
Well,
So anyways, they came out with this transgender thing, and I agree, but then I start thinking, what's going to happen if they start, as popularity of WNBA grows,
yeah.
the women are going to finally make some decent money, and maybe even a lot of money. What's going to happen? What about men decide, hey, I can go over there and make a lot of money? Half the G League, which is the minor league for the NBA, half the G League comes over and starts dominating.
Yeah.
Women are out.
Yeah.
So no good.
Yeah.
Keep men out.
Yeah.
Because it could become the WG League. All of a sudden the men are in there competing and making $2-3 million a year.
Yeah. Well, like, oh, hey, Relaunch, how you doing? But like that trailer I just showed you for a movie called Lady Ballers, like to put that perspective, remember that quick wrestling scene? He just like grabs her by the neck and wham, like like they will dominate. We've already seen that with like a lot of things in high school and in amateur stuff like that. That one article that. Pun not intended, but welcome. Making waves. He transitioned and then just dominated all of the swimming events.
Oh yeah.
Like it is just okay.
There's a picture of of a race with him, and I don't remember his name, and I don't care.
Yeah.
But for the finals, you get up in your block, you're out of the water, everybody's on the edge, and they're on the block.
And he jumps.
And the picture has got him straight out, not even descending yet. Everybody else, some are hitting the water, some are almost in the water. Every other woman's coming down. He's already won. Right there, he's won.
Because he already has a 3-foot lead,
He hasn't even started to descend into the water, and everybody else is either hitting it or heading down.
Yeah.
You're not going to beat that.
Yeah. And then,
if the race was over, I saw that picture, I go, it's over.
Yeah.
There's nobody even close to this guy.
Now that I'm thinking about it, you're 100% right. Like, as far as, like, skill and capabilities, tennis really is, as far as I'm thinking of right now, the only thing that's really equal. Because they have...
No. Wait a minute. They're not equal in play. They're equal in popularity.
Well, no. Like I know that men's go for, like 4 rounds and women's go for 3 or something like that. I don't know.
It's the best of 5. The women is best of 3. No, that's not what we're talking about.
But what I'm talking about, is they've had... like male and female pairing against another male and female, or like 2 females versus 2 males, and like the females have won, or like so like as far as skill, just like like running side to side and whacking the ball.
Speed and power. A woman cannot compete with that.
Yeah, the Williams sisters are pretty tough.
In fact, and I forget, but an old time tennis player was asked who was the best.
New York?
No. Who is the best? You know him, though. That's amazing.
Kudos
to you.
A weird name, of course I know.
Anyways, was asked who are the top in history, top 10 greatest players of all time.
In tennis.
In tennis. And he named them off. And they go, well, what about Serena Williams? You don't have her? He says, no, she's not in it. So everybody got all upset at him, and this poor guy just got hammered. Anyways, they talked to Serena. And she says, are you kidding me? I wouldn't even be in the top 60 with men. They're just too fast, too strong. Ours is a different game. But the popularity for the women's is there.
Yes.
That's the point. Don't try to compete. Men are the stronger sex. I'm sorry. Physically only. Physically only.
Yeah, really watch what you say.
I know, but they are. They're stronger, faster, whatever you want to call it.
Now, to give an antithesis to what he just said before people start, hating on this video and all that stuff, there was a civilization uncovered a while ago, and they were studying the bones, and they saw that the male and female bone structure were more or less like like the shoulders were the same width, like the bones were just as rigid, and like they did their science stuff, and the females were just as muscular, just as strong, just as physically capable as the men. They did the wheelbarrows, just
Yeah.
as the men did. Like, they all, so it's not that genetically women, physically are inferior. It's culturally women. They're in this
physical,
place, they're
yeah.
in that place. But, after a few generations, if you have, men and women doing the same work, then they will eventually become physically similar.
Wasn't it the Vikings that women were tremendously strong? The Viking society?
No.
I don't know. I'm
I-
trying to think it back. But getting to my point, what I was saying, there are plenty of women out there, plenty, that can kick my hiney.
Mine
One
too.
upside and down the other.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking as a general rule.
Well, a general rule based off of societal standards for
Today.
hundreds or not thousands of years.
Yeah.
Like that's why females are a lot more petite, because they're not from thousands of years of women doing the hard menial work. Like I'm not saying that women can't. I'm just saying when you think of coal miners, what do you think? When you think of steel workers, who's there working the forges and pounding the hammers?
Right.
Who's doing the hard physical work? Well, if it was more societally normal for women to be in those positions too, then there would be no physical difference.
There
It's
are
all
still some
society.
that want to be up there and do a heck of a good job.
Yeah.
There's plenty out there that can
Yeah.
do that.
So we're
If
not
they choose to.
Yeah, so we're not slamming anybody.
No.
We're just laying out base facts. So
Anyways.
and if you disagree, please start a dialogue in the comments section.
please
We'll be
do.
more than
That's
happy.
the whole point with.
We're
I know
okay,
I know.
you're okay.
Yeah, it doesn't
You know?
matter. I hope you're okay with what I'm saying, because you
Yeah.
don't have to like it. You
Yeah.
just don't have to like it.
Yeah.
And I don't. These are opinions.
And instead of
These
trying
are
to
opinions. That
cancel
doesn't
us,
make
just
them
talk to
facts.
us.
It doesn't make them facts at all. It's just my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
I could be totally dust on
Well,
this
well,
one.
that's why I brought up that ancient civilization, because
There you go.
It's
Perfect.
not that genetically women are not as strong. It's culturally,
But that's the whole point of this show. We want to say what we think what we say, not worry about consequences. I want you to do the same.
Yeah.
We don't want, I don't know what. But
Hate.
we don't want hate. There we go. We don't want anything hate. That's not what it's about. Just enjoy.
Yeah, we're just here to
We
talk.
want opinions.
But yeah,
And
let's
I
get-
want them to be different.
Yeah.
God, if we were all the same, boring.
Yeah, as Mom used to say, how
Boring
boring
is the NBA.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways. Anything else to say? What do you want to say to wrap up?
I think that's pretty much about it.
Yeah. Anyways, this is the premiere show.
Yeah, and we're gonna
Hope
be
you've
doing
enjoyed
this
it.
every
Sundays, 3 p.m.
Every once a month though. Like we're gonna be
Yeah,
starting
yeah.
at the
Yeah,
first Sunday
first
of every
Sunday.
month.
Sunday, yeah.
And maybe it'll pick up, and we'll see.
Well, if we like it, we don't care if you like it. If you don't like it, that's good too.
Yeah,
Because we want opinions.
yeah,
But we'll see. If we enjoy it, we'll do it
Yeah.
once a month. If it's something we really enjoyed, we'll see.
yeah.
Do it more often. Anyways, for IOYO, I'm okay, you're okay. I'm the Golden Loon.
I'm Xander. And of course, UVRU, thank you very much for coming in and watching. Once again, go to the comments section, start a dialogue if you
Please do.
if you agree, if you disagree, especially if you disagree. Like I want to pick your brain, and I want to come to a consensus, or at least
Oh,
to
I want some new ideas of why I don't
or
like
at
the
least
NBA.
to a mutual respect
Yeah.
of understanding each other's differences.
Yeah. I'd like some different perspective on why it's boring to me.
Yeah. All right. Toodles.
What a weird finish.